Wait, I thought Mussolini was a pasta shape. Anyway, welcome back to Bizzare Podcast, Dogs Must Die. My name is Grant. You can call him Chip. And today we are talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Golden Wind, episodes 33 through 35.
This stretch of 3 episodes are probably the ones stuck in my head the most, like in my memory, for multiple reasons. You know, getting closer to the end, there's going to be some big things happening, maybe some new, like, plot revelations, something like that. But also there's just a lot of crazy shit going on here.
Like, this is just 3 episodes of crazy shit. There's not even really a fight per se in these episodes.
It feels like the story was about to get to its end and Araki went, wait, I just had a crazy idea. And I mean, I love it.
I mean, there's like skirmishes, but I really don't think there's a fight, you know?
Yeah. Maybe one of the biggest stretches in JoJo without a fight.
So let's start with Episodio 33. His name is Diavolo. And we pick up right where we left off with Bruno having lost the strength to stand. But he's so determined to get into the Colosseum. And as Doppio is about to karate chop him into double death, he's like, wait a minute. This guy's so determined to get into the Colosseum.
Yeah, Doppio's just, wait a minute. I should just help Bucciarati here get into wherever he wants to go.
He can't lead me to these big secrets if he's dead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Doppio decides to play nice and offers to help Bruno, take him wherever he wants to go. And Bruno's just like...
he's going to get his, like, assisting the elderly merit badge, absolutely. And that brings us to the OP. And Bruno is in a real bad way.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
It's hard to watch how much his body has failed him following, the fallout of that last fight. And what do we think? 18 hours of being dead? Like,
yeah, at least.
Everything is so compressed in this.
Yeah. Like, Bruno is also beginning to act. Like, it's not just that he's acting weak. He almost feels like his memory, like he's getting a little dotty. But yeah, he tells Doppio, oh, I need to go across the road to the Colosseum. And as they're getting ready to go, Bruno takes one step forward, walks into a little like knee-high railing and trips over it and almost gets run over by a speeding car before Doppio can save him.
So yeah, Doppio does reach out, grabs him, and saves his life from just getting splattered. And now he's confused. This guy's hand feels like a corpse. Wait a minute. He cannot see or hear. But if he can't see, how can he ask about the giant gash on my neck? Wait a minute. The giant gash on my neck is hidden by my turtleneck. None of this makes sense.
Yeah. Doppio's just a little freaked out, but decides to, keep going on with this, taking Bruno across the road. And as he gets halfway across the road, there's like a median there with like a little, like the median's like 3 feet high. Right as they pass by that, Doppio sees like, oh shit, Misa's right across the road. Just like
he's just rubbing the building. Yeah.
Never been to the Colosseum before. I gotta rub it.
Just give it a nice stroke,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Whenever I'm walking down Addison, I do like go out of my way to cross the street and like touch Wrigley. I understand,
Yeah. And so Doppio just ducks behind this median, and Bruno's just like, "Hey, why did we stop? We gotta. Time is running short. Like, I gotta fucking go. Okay, for multiple reasons. I'm melting. The hacker man's gonna die or something. I don't know."
So Doppio's like, okay, new plan, same as the old plan. I can't deal with all these guys together. Gotta kill this dude now. But then his phone rings.
Yes.
And Bruno is so immediately confused.
And Doppio keeps making the telephone ringing sound, opens his bag, pulls out a phone, and just screams into it like, "Why the fuck are you calling me right now? This is the absolute worst time to do this."
To which Bruno replies, "For God's sake, what perplexing game are you playing?"
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the other side of the road, we've got Giorno, Trish, and Mista running around. Trish is in turtle duty for once with Narancia inside the turtle, I believe. And she is getting a bad feeling because she can sense her dad's soul nearby.
So Giorno orders her back inside the turtle because he's so worried about cooties. And just because Trish is back in the turtle doesn't mean we won't be seeing her. Because as like the headlights speed by, like Bruno's vision fuzzes a bit, and he sees Doppio as Trish. He thinks he's with Trish now.
Yeah, and the boss on the phone is telling Doppio, "I don't know how the fuck it happened. This dude's a zombie."
There's 2 boys and a girl in that boy.
Yeah, it's just a whole lot happening. And the boss theorizes like, okay, this dude has lost his sight. He lost hearing from the previous fight with Sekko, but he can still hear and see people because he's got soul vision. All he can sense are people's souls. And since the boss and Trish are, related, their soul aura is very similar.
Similar enough that when he sees the boss, it looks to him like Trish with a different haircut, I guess. They're that close.
Yeah.
The boss even gives an example like, oh, the reason Bruno like sees through your lies about when a car is coming through his blindness is he's like sensing the souls of the driver. Does that mean the one guy that almost ran him over has no soul? There's a soulless motorist loose in Rome?
Yeah, I guess so. Or another zombie? I don't know.
Oh.
Was an animal driving it? They don't have souls, I think.
That's not true.
Oh, wait, no, that's not true. That does come back. That's not true. A dog could have been driving that car.
My favorite part of this whole thing, though, is like when Doppio shouts into his phone, "You're gonna blow my frickin' cover," out loud in front of the guy he's trying to fool.
Yeah. And I think that's when Bruno is saying, like, "What stupid game are you playing right now?" or whatever.
It's so good.
Yeah. So yeah, now with Bruno thinking that Doppio's Trish, they keep going along to the other side of the road and going into the Coliseum now that the rest of the gang has like gone elsewhere.
Doppio is in control, but he's partially transformed into the boss. He's got the boss eyes.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, the eyes are the window to the soul. There we go. So that's why his camouflage is working.
Yeah, I think the boss like straight up says on the phone, like, "I partially cloaked you with my soul," or whatever. But as Doppio is wheeling Bruno just barely into the Coliseum, Bruno's talking about like, "Hey Trish, when all of this is over, I have a really tiny house in like Naples, and it's not a lot, but if you want to start a new life, you're welcome to stay there. We got great food."
Yeah, he even talks about the school district, like he's an estate agent for some reason. But somewhere in here, we did already reach the mid-episode title card unusually early. It's King Crimson is back. But they make it down to like the center of the Colosseum, in among the ruins of the like, I don't know, performance space, whatever you want to call the middle bit, the field. I don't know.
Yeah.
The boss is whispering into Doppio's ear, like he knows they're being watched, but is like, don't look. Find the reflection of whoever's watching us in Bruno's eye. That's how you will see him safely without calling any attention to us.
Yeah. I love the way, so like this whole time Doppio is bringing Bruno in, like Doppio just has the phone like in his left hand or whatever. And I just love like the when the boss begins talking again once they're in the Coliseum, like the angle you're looking at Doppio, you can't see that arm until just like his hand with the phone just like boop right out from behind him, like as a completely separate person.
So yes, of course, it is Polnareff looking down on them, and Polnareff is a professional.
Oh yeah.
This is not his first rodeo. He's like, hey, I don't know who the fuck this is wrapped around you, Bruno Bucciarati, but they were not invited. You gotta freeze, do not move, do not take a step closer, or I will fucking end this right here.
Yeah. And Bruno's just like, hey, this person has only been with us for a couple days, but you will see that she's not a part of the mafia. She's on our side. Her name's Trish. And
Polarev's like, what the fuck do you mean she? Wait a dot dang minute here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any ladies around, and I would know. I love to look at ladies.
Still have that Polaroid of those legs I took 20 years ago or whatever.
There's two things I know in this world, babes and toilets, and I don't want to poop on that. So
I think about that beautiful woman who vomited and exploded in that alleyway every day. And there was a larger woman inside that smaller woman.
So, it was a twofer. Best day of my life. And so the boss has some advice for his sweet little boy. Act furious at him for doubting your femininity. Do it, Doppio.
So Doppio just kind of puts on a bit of a falsetto and just like, hey, fuck you.
And it works.
And Polnareff's just like, oh, my bad.
Say whatever you will about Jean-Pierre Polnareff, but he's a firm believer in self-ID, and we respect him.
Yeah. Not insult or anything. He just goes, sorry.
My deepest apologies, mademoiselle.
Yes, that's what he says. Oh, it's so funny.
But, okay, just because, we've cleared that up doesn't mean he's trusting, on other fronts still. So the next request is, I'd like to see her stand first and no sudden movements. This is Little Red JoJo's hood. Like,
yeah.
What big stats you have. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as Polnareff is saying, okay, show me your stand. Don't fucking move. I will determine if you're trustworthy by you doing this. Polnareff is holding onto the special arrow, the 3-pronged arrow with the bug on it. Mm-hmm, and the boss, through Doppio's eyes, is able to see this go like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the boss does not know who this is at all. Completely clueless. And Polnareff's like, hey, come on, bring it out. Quote, think of it like lifting up your skirt nice and slow. Yep. Uh-huh. That's our Stardust Crusaders Polnareff. All right.
That's Polnareff, yep.
Oh, one step forward, 2 steps back.
Yeah.
Maybe the other way around. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, Polnareff is thinking to himself, wow, I can feel the bloodlust from here, which is like, I feel like no one's done that in JoJo for a while. That's also like him bringing back the part 3 stuff for a bit, just talking about bloodlust, the bloodlust energy.
And also, if that's true, maybe you should, I don't know, do something about it.
Yeah.
But like him shifting his gaze and like readying himself has brought the arrow into view in the reflection in Bruno Bucciarati's eyeball. Yeah.
At this point, this is when both the boss and Polnareff recognize each other at the same time, and they have a dual simultaneous flashback.
Yes, this is great. They go into the flashback zone in tandem, hand in hand. And so as we eventually get back to the present, they are tag teaming narration of the flashback.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, actually. I like it.
It's great. So we start with the boss's perspective of him as a young man volunteering at a dig site in Egypt.
Yes, yep.
And what he finds is 6 arrowheads in a box, 6 stand-creating arrows, 5 standard version, and the special one with a bug.
Yeah.
I guess that unnamed arrow creator from time immemorial was just like, okay, now it's time for a silly one. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm getting bored of these normal ones. Because
they, like, okay, this is the one that's plot important, but it's never implied that it is in any way functionally different from any other arrow.
Right.
It just looks special.
Yeah, it just looks special. Different eras of that man's arrow crafting work. Eventually, he started adding his own like signature to his arrowheads, which was the bug. After
Looting this discovery from the dig site, I guess, he sells 5 to Enya and keeps the 6th one for himself. And what he sells it for is not money or anything, but just instructions on what to do with it.
Yeah. Enya has apparently been encountering arrows for a while, so she already knows how to use these when he sells them to her.
But is in need of them, or, at least in bulk. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think he felt cheated when the instructions were like, okay, and now you poke somebody with it?
Yeah.
The end.
Oh, man.
If you ask nicely, the arrow will tell you who to poke for best results.
Yeah. If you just cut yourself while you were digging these up, you would already have your answer.
So she also gives him some stand user lore, like how, they are bound to one another, attracted to one another, the ties of stand user fate, all that stuff. And then Polnareff takes the narrator handoff. He was also investigating ruins around in the early 90s with his best friend Jotaro Kucho.
And so now we're seeing Stardust Crusaders era Jotaro and Polnareff, but in part 5 style. So they're both slim. They're still muscular, but they're definitely slimmed down. And Jotaro looks younger.
He looks like an actual teenager for the first time in his life.
Yeah, it's wild. It's so crazy to see. Yeah, this is like post-killing Dio, I believe. Just investigating the arrows together in Egypt.
So they hear this rumor about a young man who had a box full of these things, and they try to track him down. And so they figure the best thing to do is split up. And Jotaro takes 2/3 of the planet,
America and Asia. That's a lot of ground to cover.
That's a lot of ground. That's a lot of population. But while Europe and Africa are Polnareff's territory, because, he doesn't want to go too far from home. Okay. You know what this means? Australia, you have carte blanche for stand crimes. Nobody's watching.
Oh, shit.
It's a free-for-all down there.
We got to have a JoJo take place in Australia. I don't think it's ever been visited, right?
But this does sort of recontextualize Jotaro's mission in part 4. Like this is why the big thing, like, oh, okay, we got some family business, sure. There's this weird Angelo picture, okay, but like bottom of the stack, but top of his mind was Enya and arrow stuff. He's been looking for this arrow for like 10 years by that point.
Polnareff started investigating a specific area of Italy where drug-induced youth deaths was 20 times the national average.
Yes. The secret to finding the arrows isn't to look for magic punching men. It's to look for where people are selling drugs to kids, but like a lot.
Yeah. Eventually, there's going to be a stand that just makes drugs, right?
And sells them to kids. That's how we know it's evil.
Sells them to kids, yeah.
You think the CEO of Amerisource Bergen is a stand user? So Polnareff is checking out this hot spot in Italy of the only bad crime. And then, handoff. Speaking of that hotspot, it's where the boss has been building his network. He has, in the years since, made a near perfect mafia that is like fully mobilized, fully integrated, pulling the strings of society, as we have seen. Is what Passione does. They explode senators with cars if they get out of line.
Yeah.
And then he hears about this weird French guy trying to track him down. Wait a minute. So he decides to take care of him personally, after all, and they have a cliffside showdown high over the Mediterranean. It's very picturesque.
And this is when it hands off to Polnareff again for narration, and Polnareff starts off with saying, I made 2 mistakes! 1, this mafia was way more integrated into Italy than I thought it was.
They control like the government, communications, the media. Like what do you care that they control the media? Are you going to write a letter to the editor about stands? What does that have to do with you?
And then his second mistake was getting owned, basically.
It was underestimating the unstoppable might of King Crimson.
Yep. And so we see Polnareff already injured and bleeding, like with his back to the cliff, try to attack King Crimson with Silver Chariot, and of course, King Crimson just eliminates time and first pokes out Silver Chariot's eyeball.
Well, no, he goes straight for Polnareff. He leaves the stand alone.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a karate chop through Polnareff's face.
Yes.
To fuck up his now fucked up eye, and then another karate chop that takes both of his legs off in a single swing.
And yeah, Polnareff, with all like half of his limbs missing, just falls like 300 feet onto a rock down below, just blood everywhere, and survives.
The Mediterranean has turned blood red, and I choose to believe that's literal. It's he bled that much.
And yeah, that's when we get back to the present, where the boss is shocked that Polnareff fucking lived through that. There must have been a fucking Speedwagon submarine or something right next to him to immediately bring him in.
Well, one of the manga anime differences is in the book originally, when Polnareff is talking about how Passione like cut him off from communications, that was specifically to his Speedwagon allies. That's why he couldn't call for backup from Jotaro or just a bunch of people with peed agon hats or anything.
Yeah. Damn.
That's the Navy. That's how you tell it's the seafaring division.
Pentagon. The Pentagon. That's right.
Following their moment of mutual recognition, the boss is like, "Oh shit, how is that guy here?" And Polnareff's like, "Hey Bruno, that's not who you said it is. Get away." And
like the instant he says that, Doppio is just gone. Bruno is on his hands and knees. At this point, completely incapacitated. He's barely alive. Something rolls by Polnareff and like hits his wheelchair. And it's a part of his binoculars he had that were like resting nearby. They're on the ground in pieces now.
Meanwhile, the others have made it to the Colosseum, and they notice that like their steps fall out of rhythm. They're like so focused on like time skipping, they see just that. Like, oh shit, fuck, things are happening.
Yep. Polnareff's up on the second level, and this is when Doppio starts to walk up the stairs towards Polnareff.
And he sends them to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, they go to the King Crimson Shadow Realm.
Like, the stones of the Colosseum are, like, torn away as like, a star field swirls around the platform on which they stand in the King Crimson time zone.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's so good.
And the King Crimson time zone is where Doppio switches into the boss.
Yeah. He walks behind the remnants of one of these pillars while taking his sweater off, and that's all the wipe he needs to be like, bam, this is what Diavolo looks like. It's me.
Yeah, so Diavolo is Doppio, but buffer. His hair is completely down. He gets little, like, watermelon seed splotches all over his pink hair.
And he's wearing a mesh shirt that's, I guess, has been beneath the turtleneck all this time, with tails, with, like, long tuxedo coat-style tails.
I guess you could say this is a shirt, but really it only goes down to the nipples. It is extremely fashion looking, though. Like, damn. But yeah, tails on it. And we switch from Doppio's voice to the boss's voice, which is very deep and raspy and menacing. I think the boss's English dub voice in this is really good.
It's a lot of fun. And he gets to have some fun in the next couple episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Too. So time restarts after, so I guess from everyone else's perspective, a second of lost time, and then blip, the other boy now, here he is.
Yep.
And Polnareff says, walk up these steps and see what happens, asshole.
Yeah.
Yes. I have the high ground and you're stuck down there. I love this moment because Diavolo's big reveal is an inversion of Dio's big reveal. It's Polnareff on top of the staircase.
Yeah. God, that's so good. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's so rad. That's a good callback. Fuck. I never even processed that. So yeah, as Polnareff is saying, like, hey, don't fucking test me. I'm above, you're below. I have the advantage. He bites his index finger.
You're my brother, Anakin. This is set in 2001. The prequels are just coming out.
Yeah. Polnareff bites his index finger, so it starts bleeding, and the blood drops are dripping onto his leg.
And the boss is like, yes, if you watch the blood drops, you'll be able to see when time skips. And I'm like, yes, you could have worn a watch.
Yeah. Yep. This is when Diavolo charges at Polnareff, and Polnareff is just watching the blood drops, and when he sees several more suddenly appear on his leg, that's when Silver Chariot pops out and does like a fucking Ocarina of Time ass spin attack all around him.
Silver Chariot is, of course, so fast. The only way you can outspeed it is by being able to manipulate time itself.
Yeah.
By doing this, like, AoE sweep at light speed, Silver Chariot does land a gash down the forearm of the boss, and he's like, yeah, you're pretty good.
Yeah. Fucking fast enough to still get me even when I can predict the future a couple seconds ahead. Yeah.
And then Silver Chariot does something pretty unpredictable.
Oh yeah.
It grabs the wheelchair and, Polnareff with it and rockets into the sky.
Yeah, just fucking grabs Polnareff by the wheel, the back.
60 feet vertically.
Just throws Polnareff fucking high into the air to get the fuck away from Diavolo, because he's like 2 feet behind Polnareff now. Yeah, this is when Diavolo pauses time again. He takes some of the blood from his arm wound and just throws it, spatters it all over Polnareff's eyes so he can't see blood drops again. And then he goes to just fucking karate chop Polnareff's head in half.
But something happened during that big jump. Silver Chariot's face is melting a little bit.
Yeah, the special arrow, Polnareff has taken it and jabbed it into Silver Chariot's face.
So there's this huge flash of light, and the bottom half of Silver Chariot has become liquid metal, and its torso just scampers around, much like Chocolata, I guess, and scurries away with that arrow lodged in its face the whole time.
Yeah. Polnareff is gasping for air, thinking to himself that this was a really desperate action he just took, but it's the only way to protect the arrow. He hopes that this action is enough to get the arrow into the proper hands. And this is when Diavolo, super pissed off about this and confused as to what the fuck is going on with the arrow, he punches Polnareff clean through.
Like so many before him.
Oh, yeah.
He gets the Abacchio send-off. And now Silver Chariot just dissolves entirely while Polnareff collapses. But, he doesn't have regrets. His dying thoughts are about, like, hope and the embodiment of hope in the arrow, and whoever controls the arrow will control the whole world. And so Diavolo takes the arrow. Whoops.
Shit. And the last thing, like, you get one last close-up of Polnareff's face as the life, like, fades out of his eyes, and you get the spirit fog, the spirit mist coming out off his body, and you just see, like, a big collage of the entire Stardust Crusaders gang last time.
They're all there in various poses, various moments throughout their journeys together. Iggy's just up in the top right corner, hanging out in the sky.
Also, it's hard to see because it's covered up by Polnareff's face on the left, but fucking one of the enemy stands is there, too.
Yeah, the Hail to You fake genie stand is here.
Yeah, for some reason.
Along with the Jeep they had for 15 minutes before Duel destroyed it.
It's just that this one very specific moment in time is burned into Polnareff's mind, I suppose.
Oh, remember when we peed on that guy? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Those were the good old days.
All right.
So yeah, Jean-Pierre Polnareff is now dead. We are running out of Crusaders here.
Yeah.
And Diavolo, like, thanks him for his service as the turtle trio finally, gets up to the arena field of the Colosseum and finds Bruno. But that's not quite the end. Because our final image is of Silver Chariot with a brand new look and some swagger. He's strutting.
Oh my god, yeah. Diavolo just sees this like shiny jet black figure that fucking has got a stride to him. And he's walking away from Diavolo, and he's freaked out, like, how the fuck did you get here? And the final shot of this episode is the camera zooming in on the back of the brand new silver chariot with a imprint of the arrow, like an indentation of that special arrow, like burned into the side of his neck.
Yeah, he got a neck tattoo. He's bad as shit, man.
Yep.
Episodio 34. The Requiem quietly plays part 1. Quick recap of that whole cliffhanger situation. While Diavolo now demands answers from the Silver Musketeer.
Yes, God, yeah, Silver Chariot looks like a Three Musketeer now a little bit. Cool fucking hat.
He's got a cool, jaunty hat. He has, clothes. He's not like a skeletal robot anymore. He's a guy.
Yeah.
The sort of like steel circle motif that Chariot had in like his joints in some parts is now the epaulets on this coat.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, I don't know. He's sort of like a shiny jet black rubber surface, but with sort of the swirling of like an oil slick kind of.
Yeah, just kind of overlaid on top of him.
Yeah. And yeah, he's got like sort of poofy pants, not quite jodhpurs, but
Yeah.
wide-thighed pants that taper toward the knee. And yeah, he just looks like he's there to make Cardinal Richelieu eat his words.
And Diablo's just watching this new silver chariot walk down the stairs slowly. And it's kind of like steaming too, like from where the arrow imprint is on its neck. It's just kind of sizzling and steaming. And as Diablo tries to continue to walk, he notices...
Like,
whoop!
Hey, who are you? What the fuck? What's going on? What's going on? And then the arrow clatters to the ground, and he's like, "Did I drop that? How did I drop that? Wait a minute."
Yep, and just kind of tumbles down the stairs, and Silver Chariot just picks that up. And as Diablo tries to chase after him, he just gets really tired. Eventually, falls to his knees, and then sits down and falls asleep.
Everybody's had a very, very long day. They all deserve a nap. Bruno collapses entirely for at least 4 reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
Meest is asleep. Trish is asleep. Giorno's asleep. One must reason that Narancia is asleep inside the turtle.
Yeah, the turtle's asleep. It's nap time. Everyone take a fucking nap.
And yeah, Chariot Redux is just walking away with that arrow. And after the OP, we see that all of Rome is very, very sleepy.
Yeah. Oh, we should bring up the OP has changed as well.
Is this where it changed?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the OP is the same until you get to the bit where you see a finger with blood dripping on the ground. And instead of you seeing the time skip of the blood drops, you get to see King Crimson tear everything away into the time zone. And you see Diavolo walk behind Giorno, and you get to see him do like the Doppio thing of the future being projected onto the back side of his bangs. And then time resumes, and then they fight.
It's very Dio, big Dio parallels, and the song is also subtly different because they added like Diavolo is screaming about himself.
Yes.
While an Italian choir is chanting other things, and that Italian choir keeps going after time resumes, backing up the Japanese singer saying "hell no," etc.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But back out of the OP, it's not just the main characters and villains that are asleep here. Everyone in Rome has fallen asleep, at least in the next several city blocks, because the dog is asleep. Outside, there's a woman and her baby who have just collapsed on the road and are asleep. 2 cops.
Yep, and the perp in the back seat are all asleep. Yeah,
and they were driving slowly, but their car just kind of coasts into a pylon and crashes into it very, very gently.
So back in the Colosseum, a flower blooms and a little bee emerges, and I think, oh, what has Gold Experience got up to in the meantime? And the answer is nothing. This is just a nice little bit of some pastoralism in the middle of our adventure story.
Yeah, and some time passes. It was nighttime, and now it's like early morning, and it started to rain. It's a little foggy now.
So Giorno and Trish wake up in the morning rain, and Giorno is shocked to see that his hands are covered in blood. He's like, what happened here? I didn't do this. So Trish runs over, steps on Mista's gun, which like flips it up into the air, grabs Coco Jumbo, crouches behind cover, and the gun falls perfectly into her hand. Jesus Christ, put this girl in a fight. Let her fight. Except that's not quite what happened, because the person I've been calling Giorno is not Giorno.
Yes.
And the person I've been calling Trish is indeed Mista.
Yes. The instant both Giorno and Trish wake up, you can tell something is up because their voice actors are putting on different voices.
Yeah. Not like different voices, but like different inflections, hitting different registers. As will become very clear very shortly, there's been a big old body swap, and they did the thing I really prefer in a body swap story as far as voices go. They kept the voice actor tied to the body. And trusted them to do a performance related to the new person occupying that body, rather than just like you know that's really Narancia and not Giorno because it's Narancia's voice.
Yeah.
No, I hate that. That's lazy and it's boring.
Yeah, I agree. This is far more interesting.
And they all really make a meal out of it. Like,
yeah. This part is a lot more enjoyable when I can listen to it in English and I can like pick up the inflections better.
Before they even act, like both in, I mean, again, a strength of, this dub script's command of character voice, but also, the actors' performances. Like I knew who was who long before they figured it out,
Yeah.
That is a credit to the team for sure.
Yeah. Narancia is now in Giorno's body, and Mista is in Trish's body. Trish's voice actress acting like Mista is very fun.
She should just play Mista in all the other episodes. She's a great Mista.
Yeah. Now, Mista as Trish is taking cover with the gun. Narancia as Giorno is taking cover, and this is when they all start getting very confused about who's calling who, because they don't realize they have swapped bodies yet until, Mista as Trish realizes his dick is gone.
Yeah, he gropes himself a lot. He realizes he has boobs and exclaims, "What the hell are these? How'd I grow a pair of chesticles?"
Yes.
And that's when you really know it's Mista in there.
Oh, yeah.
My dingaling is gone. Where'd you go, little guy?
Yeah.
Little guy? That's what you're going to go with?
Yeah.
Why not big fella? Let me just throw out a suggestion. Big fella.
Big man, big dude. Hog on the town. Where's my hog on the town?
Don't let Polnareff hear that. He's going to... Flashbacks. Trauma flashbacks.
Yeah. It's a good thing he died, so he doesn't have to hear this.
I'm always saying this. It's a great thing Polnareff is dead. Eventually, they figure out that they all did swapsies. It's not like everyone hopped one body to the left. It's like even switches, right?
Yep.
Giorno is Narancia, Narancia is Giorno. Mista is Trish, Trish is Mista.
Yep.
And Trish is having a very, very bad day.
Yeah.
She is freaking out about hair and smells, and also seeing her body get groped. Not a great way to wake up. My goodness. Mista could stand to be a little bit dismissive, considering he just held a funeral for his dick a second ago.
Yeah. So yeah, we get a little scene that's just Trish and Mista in each other's bodies, both freaking out and getting pissed off at each other. And Trish just hating how disgusting. Like she says, if I had to switch, I wish it could be literally anyone else. Because I think everyone else takes showers except for this fucking dude.
Yeah, I bet Abacchio got manicures. Like, yeah, right?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, it really seems if you want a body swap with any of these guys, it would be Giorno, or if Bruno wasn't a zombie, Bruno, because they seem like the ones that like put cologne on and stuff.
No, Giorno is definitely the most like hygienic. Just using the word hygienic seems like a low bar, but
yeah. Yeah.
Frankly, I think Narancia and Mista are pretty even. I don't know.
Yeah.
Any of the dead guys are better than either of them.
Yeah. I think Narancia probably got worse the instant Fugo left the group.
Yeah.
Finally, no one left to tell me to brush my teeth.
The weirdest thing in this whole swap is seeing, like, stillness and deliberation on Narancia's face.
Yes. Yeah. Narancia's voice actor does a really good job at acting like Giorno.
It's so uncanny. Like, oh my, you should not be doing that. No.
There's even aside from the performances, there's also, like, in some scenes you can really tell they took care to make everyone just, like, hold their stance differently. Because Narancia stands around way more like Giorno now. Like, you even if he didn't speak, you could tell he's acting like Giorno right there. And
Giorno doesn't really get slouchy, in comparison.
Yeah.
Trish, though, is really laying it on a little bit thick. Hey, can we pull it back a bit to focus on the task at hand? Like, she's really going for how she wants everyone to know exactly how disgusted she is, to the point that Mista says, quote, "Words can hurt as much as bullets sometimes."
Yeah.
And frankly, he would know. Mm-hmm. So this keeps going, honestly. The two of them, they will not let up, to the point that we get, shall we say, a discussion on the custodial care of the body vis-a-vis itchy undergarments. And
yeah, Mista in Trish's body just, like, keeps itching at the crotch region because everything she's wearing... God, what does he say in the English dub? He says it's like 2 rubber bands pulling his ass apart or something? Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. But while those hijinks are happening, Narancia in Giorno's body is trying to figure out, like, hey, can we still pull our stands out? What's going on there? And after trying to pull out Aerosmith and it not working for a second, eventually it pops out, and yes, their stands have switched along, or have come along with them. So everyone still has ownership of their own stand, just in a different body.
And their stands are fucking supercharged.
Yeah, everyone's stands have got more powerful than normal right now. Mista fires off Sex Pistols and is able to, like, destroy 6 iron railings on a fence nearby with a single bullet.
I'm pretty sure destroying a part of the Colosseum is a serious crime, though.
Yep.
It's okay. It's one of the cool crimes. We did not sell any drugs to the Colosseum's kids.
Yeah, it's fine.
Narancia surprises me because he's the first one to consider that Bruno may not be Bruno, still lying unconscious in the middle of the field here.
Yeah. Bruno's body is, just limp on the ground now, like 100 feet or so away from them. And everyone's just like, is he alive?
And even, is he the boss?
Yeah. And it's like, okay, let's keep our distance for now. And this is when Giorno, in Narancia's body, notices, hey, the turtle's alive. It's crawled up onto a little pillar nearby where it's got, like, a little outcropping halfway up it.
And it's moaning about its pain.
Yeah, it's like, man, this hurts.
There are a few little moments we skipped. There is a, like, cutaway outside, and all of those bystanders are waking up in swapped bodies. Like, the mother's body is crying while the baby is awake and trying to, like, comfort her. The one cop in the car has swapped with the criminal in the back, while the other cop in the car has swapped with a sparrow. That is a sparrow that now has the mind of a man hanging out on the hood of this car.
God, yeah, and you can tell, and the sparrow is just, like, tweeting a bunch, very concerned sounding, while the actual cop is just going tweet tweet.
And a guy and his dog have swapped. Both are barking at each other.
Yeah.
So we know that turtles are susceptible to this as well. Perhaps even stand user turtles. But also, Trish still won't fucking stop. And it's one thing when her reactions are, like, being upset at Mista and the situation, but when she's just, like, shrieking and going, ew, gross, nasty boys.
Yeah.
Like, okay, maybe if I'm being generous, the whole thing is like she's overcompensating this like quote unquote girliness for having lost her femininity. But let's be honest, it really is just going overboard to wring everything possible out of this joke to the point of like character inconsistency, which ruins the joke. Character consistency is what makes this joke work.
Yeah,
Come on.
I
This
agree.
sucks. This frankly sucks.
Yeah. Anyways, the turtle is saying, "This hurts." Coco Jumbo is walking around talking.
That ain't Coco Jumbo, baby.
No.
That is Jean-Pierre Polnareff, because that is how he introduces himself the first of like 4 times.
Yeah, yes.
Every moment possible, this turtle will turn around and say, I am Jean-Pierre Polnareff. He keeps saying it.
Yeah.
You almost spoiled this. Do you recall?
Yes.
This is ages ago when we were talking about when Coco Jumbo first appeared, and you were laughing at the idea that Coco Jumbo had a voice actor listed. You even named the voice actor, and I trimmed that out of the episode in case people recognize the name as the same actor who plays Polnareff.
Yeah, I read that and just thought like, oh, well, I guess the turtle makes some utterances or something reading that voice actor, not realizing that voice actor was fucking Polnareff's.
And this
like,
is
shit.
why.
Yeah.
So anyway, in the moment, Giorno summons Gold Experience to uppercut this turtle and pop the key out of his back, deactivating Mr. President to expel whoever is talking from inside this turtle. Mm-hmm. But Giorno, that's not how it works. It's the turtle talking. There's no one hiding in Mr. President. The turtle has the soul of a dead Frenchman.
Yeah.
Who is the super hacker.
Yeah. So you just hear from like the turtle flapping his mouth, and you just hear Polnareff's voice saying, "It's me, I am the turtle."
So that brings us to the middle of the episode. The title card is a diagram of who swapped with who, and Bruno has got like a big question mark.
Yes.
We still don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I didn't want to skip that cutaway outside, we see like the swap between the dog walker and the dog, the cop and the bird. The animals, even though they are home to the souls of adult human Italians, they still just make the dog noises and the bird noises.
Yeah.
This implies that Coco Jumbo could speak human language all along and just didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just had nothing to say.
Coco Jumbo was taught, if you have nothing nice to say nothing. And Coco Jumbo is actually a very mean turtle. That's what I think. So just, God, imagine if Polnareff's body was still just slightly alive, and it was just also speaking English, but just being a huge asshole or something.
How can you tell the difference?
Yeah.
I guess it wouldn't be sprinkling in French every few words.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know all the French swears. I watch JoJo's. So Polnareff is claiming responsibility for this current situation. The Arrow did all the big swapsies and the big sleepies, both. And so Narancia hops up onto some of the ruined stone around and gets a bead on Polnareff's corpse because he is a dedicated fact checker. He's like, yeah, this checks out. That 0 Pinocchios on this one, sir. So Silver Chariot has gone rogue. That is the situation. He is under his own control. He cannot be recalled. He's totally separated from Polnareff. And this turtle trying to be commanding is adorable.
I love it.
He thinks he's a little Frenchman, this little turtle.
Just the utter urgency and seriousness that this turtle is saying, but it's just a turtle. It's so good. I also just think out of any JoJo character that could become a turtle, Polnareff is the funniest one to pick.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about inversions from part 3. Like, what What's the funniest thing that that could be a ninja, a turtle? And we've been riding that wave for like almost 40 years now, right?
Yeah.
What's the funniest thing that Polnareff, the dashing swordsman, could be? A turtle. He could be a turtle. But also, like, going back to one of the points we talked about way back in part 3 about how Polnareff is the most like grounded to bodily functions and physicality, and he's a smelly boy who's always peeing on things, and now he's completely disembodied. He's a floating ghost. I mean, I guess he's re-embodied. He's a turtle, but there is something spectral and ethereal about him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we didn't get much of wizened post showdown Polnareff, but there is something to an idea that was a middle stage. I would like to have seen a Polnareff really reliant on Silver Chariot to do as like a mobility aid to live through his non-embodied self before he becomes a non-embodied self.
Yeah. This is when Polnareff is starting to talk about like the nature of this special arrow and all of this, and he's just like, okay, it's story time. Gather round, children.
He's full of flashbacks. He's just stuffed to the gills with them.
It's been so long since we've seen him. He's got so many stories to tell. But yes, now we're flashing back to 2 years ago after he had already been heavily injured by Diavolo.
Depending on the month, I guess, this is happening during Diamond is Unbreakable. What was Polnareff up to? He was convalescing in an idyllic farmhouse.
Yes, hiding away in this village. The arrow that he had with him had fallen behind like some furniture and a wall.
He does not start the flashback far enough back to tell us how it got there. Were you doing baton tricks?
Right.
Is Polnareff real into devil sticks? How did that get back there? Come on. You could be honest.
Yeah. Polnareff is having difficulty grabbing the arrow where it is because, you know, he's bound to his wheelchair.
Yeah, he can't figure out a way to like arrange his body and his chair to get the reach and the angle to get behind this dresser, and he's just like, "Oh right, I'll do that thing Grant said like 30 seconds ago. I'll have Silver Chariot go get it."
Yeah. And this is when Silver Chariot, when he goes to pick it up, accidentally like cuts his finger on the arrowhead and begins to immediately have like a bright golden glow emit from his body. And
everyone and everything passes out. The cows out the window just collapse.
Yeah. And this is when Polnareff figured out that this arrow, stands can level up if they touch this arrow.
Yeah, this big bright light emerging from Silver Chariot's finger, it begins to like transform into the Swag Musketeer, and Polnareff just snatches the arrow out of Silver Chariot's hand before any of these unknown changes can become permanent.
Yeah,
and then all the cows and farmhands wake up, thankfully.
Mm-hmm. He just talks about like, okay, because I died, it completely separated me from the stand, which is doing its own thing now. And I've been desperately trying to find someone like you to pass this arrow onto because I can't fucking deal with Diavolo. He's too fucking strong.
He believes himself to be too weak, and spent all the time since trying to find his brave warriors to destroy Diavolo, and seize the arrow and like entrust it to someone worthy because it is like the ultimate power. Like he believes in his very heart that if you can make cows get real sleepy, you can rule the world.
Yeah. And so Polnareff tells them, hey, your number one priority now is to go get that arrow back from my new upgraded Silver Chariot before the boss does, and master the power of the arrow.
There's like another dozen arrows banging around. You can get another arrow.
Yeah.
Jotaro has 2. He has 2 now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a busted one on the floor of Pulpo's jail cell. What happened to that?
But Polnareff's like, wait, I'm not done.
Quote, I have one last shocking piece of information to give you.
Yeah.
He's been so lonely these past few years.
Yeah. And he asks for Trish, and he's just like, hey, the boss has 2 personalities.
This This is a significant difference between the subtitle translation and the dub script because, yeah, that's what he says in the subs. He just straight up talks about there's two personalities. But in the dub, he's much vaguer and doesn't seem to understand how it is, only that it is that boy is two boys.
Yeah.
It could be anything. They could just be two people blinking out of a portal or something. I don't know. Who could say? But in the subtitle, it's like, yeah, he has split personalities. There's two souls, one body.
Yeah.
This is significant later.
Mm-hmm. And this is when Polnareff says, like, hey, there was a boy that somehow disguised himself as you, Trish. This person is also the boss. Or they're like, yeah, two people working together somehow. This is when Giorno's just like, that makes no sense. The boss is so secretive that how would he ever entrust anything to another person?
But that is when Aerosmith spots Diavolo's body rushing back toward the Colosseum.
Mm-hmm.
All discussion is halted as Giorno. You know what Giorno does? He does hand signals. He calls out a play with a series of like 4 or 5 detailed hand signals. This is so gratifying.
They have fucking hand signals now.
And so everyone wordlessly takes cover and sets up for this ambush. And Trish recognizes the face running toward them as the one left in the monument impression.
Yes. It is funny seeing like what Diavolo actually looks like when every time you see the boss, like just in silhouette, it's a much more traditional looking mafioso guy in a red suit and slicked back hair.
Well, now it's action time. The hair goes wild when it's time to kill people in the field personally.
Yep.
Diavolo's body with whoever is in the driver's seat is rushing towards them. Everyone is fearing for the worst. Anything could have happened. But wait a minute. Swag Chariot is in the shadows too.
Yep. And this is when we get the new stand name. It's Chariot Requiem.
Yes! So Chariot Requiem is coming for this new arrival, and they reach out in order to strike them, not with their own fists, but with their stand. Sticky Fingers! Oh my god! It's Bruno! He's back in a working body! The day is saved! John Cena's entrance music should drop in this scene. The hero has returned!
Yep.
He's come back to us on the 3rd day!
Oh, God. So, yeah, Diavolo, as Bruno, brings out Sticky Fingers and punches Chariot Requiem's arm that's holding the arrow clean off its body. To be continued.
And I just know in my heart that they're going to be like, oh, it's Bruno. And then they turn around to find Bruno's body and just like, bust 2 in the back of his skull. We're done with it. And he won't be there. He crawled away when they were distracted every fucking time.
Yeah.
Guess what? That's not what happened.
Oh, shit.
Just quick check on the end credits. Everybody who we haven't mentioned since the last time we checked in is there, including Chariot Requiem. Chariot Requiem is on the pillar now, above Moody Blues.
Yeah.
So again, as I do, I checked the wiki's list of manga anime differences, and they claim that Trish's freakout was lengthened in the anime, which makes a lot of sense to me.
That makes sense, yeah. The joke plays out once, and it's pretty all right, and then it plays out like 3 more times in quick succession, yeah.
So the last episode we're talking about today, Episodio 35, The Requiem Quietly Plays, Part 2. Recap of the body swaps and Bruno's triumphant return. And now, as Bruno has arrived, he immediately knows what's up. He recognizes everyone from their vocal cadence.
Yes.
And then he is congratulated by a haunted turtle. Who once again has to introduce himself by saying, I am Jean-Pierre Polnareff, and expecting everyone to care and know who that is.
Yeah. I just want every scene where Polnareff Turtle shows up to just always introduce himself. Like, that's just his catchphrase now.
So yeah, we get a quick sit rep here. The situation as it stands is Sex Pistol number 7 is babysitting Bruno's sleeping body, who, I mean, following this reciprocal swap rule, that's got to be the boss in there, obviously. While Mista has his gun and the rest of his stand trained on Chariot Requiem, just because we gotta, that's our current obstacle.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Chariot Requiem is slowly getting back up. So Bruno, as Diavolo, goes to pick up the arrow. It's still like being held onto by the severed chariot arm. And as he goes to pick it up, Sticky Fingers' arm busts out of Diavolo's arm and begins to choke him.
Bruno's getting choked out by his own stand in a borrowed throat, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sticky Fingers will not let Bruno get that arrow. So Meest is like, okay, I got this. Fires a couple rounds at the arrow to knock it out of Requiem's grasp again, which works. But then the pillar behind him stretches and warps as Sex Pistol number 1 rides a larger bullet than usual somehow. Found a magnum round from somewhere, threatening to make, quote, that thick skull of yours holier than a dog shit eating priest. Number 1 has gotten profane.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
So as this bullet is rocketing towards Mista, Trish comes out with Spice Girl to soften the bullet so that when it collides, it doesn't do any damage. And now Sex Pistols number 1 is just like a rabid dog screaming and just kicking Misa's face repeatedly, trying to kill him.
He expresses a desire to, quote, paint the streets with your chunky noodle juices.
Yeah. And so the other Sex Pistols have to come up and like slap the shit out of number 1 to wake him up and return him back to normal.
Meanwhile, Chariot Requiem just grabs its hand, puts that back on, grabs the arrow, of course.
Mm-hmm. And just kind of just glues its arm and hand back on and just walks away.
And so now the challenge ahead of them is clear. Like, Chariot Requiem is a rogue thing that its only purpose is to protect anyone and everyone from the arrow, including our heroic good guys. And it can turn their stands against them to do it.
Yeah.
So it walks down the street. It's going past all those swapped people still like coming to terms with their situation.
Mm-hmm. I want to bring up that, this is people call like this is Chariot Requiem, but any stand that gets hit with an arrow to get more powers, people in the fandom just call a Requiem stand. So a lot of people believe that at the end of Diamond is Unbreakable, that is also a Requiem stand, they think.
Okay.
Because I mean, it wasn't the stand that got hit with the arrow; it was a person.
Exactly. I was going to say I don't buy it, and that would be my point.
Yeah, that's correct. Actually, it's a person and a stand getting hit with an arrow gets different things, just more powers or a completely new stand, like as a Pokemon that just evolved. Chariot Requiem has like 8 powers. Yeah, back outside, we see that guy and dog that have swap bodies, and there's a bit where like the person who's now a dog is just sniffing the ground and drooling and howling at the sky, and the dog man speaks in English.
Yes.
And goes, "Hey, pipe down."
This honestly feels like an editor bringing up the same joke I did earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. The man in a dog body has to actually speak, or this old Coco Jumbo Polaref thing makes no sense.
Yeah. I want to hear the little sparrow talk. Well, I don't know. The people voices, at least Polnareff's voice is coming out of the turtle, so I guess it's not like when people switch bodies and they have the same voice. But I just wanted to...
What if they were playing the long game and that voice actor was also doing the turtle noises all along?
Yeah.
But meanwhile, back inside, number 7 has a warning. Diavolo is waking up. And so Bruno orders his own body to be shot, but Mies is like, I don't want to shoot your body. You're going to need that.
Yeah.
And Giorno, who's in on the reason that no, he's not going to need that, just sort of assuages Mista like, no, it's okay. Once the boss in Bruno is dead, I can fix the body and then we'll put Bruno in it right as rain. Right, Bruno? That's what you were thinking, huh? Wink, wink.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mista shoots the boss twice, and Narancia sounds like the all clear. There's no breath coming from this body, so they're all good. There was never breath coming from that body. We need to be open. No secrets.
Never. But Narancia is checking to see, like, okay, is there anyone else around on my radar? Oh, no, we're all clear. It's just us and, no one else here. And Narancia sighs, a little breath of relief, and it's like, okay, all we got to do is get this arrow from Chariot Requiem, and we'll all be good. And when all this shit is over, I want to enroll in school again.
He wants to go to school. He wants to eat a real good pizza. He wants to reconcile with Fugo. He's only 3 days from retirement. He's going to propose to his girlfriend because she deserves it. And he's discovered this big secret that the whole war hinges on.
Yeah.
They could not signal he's about to die any harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep. When someone just turns around smiling, thinking everything is almost, completely wrapped up and says, I can't wait to get home to eat a big pizza. That feels like you're going to die any second.
Especially because then he pledges to Trish that he will protect her until his dying day, which really makes me think that's today. Here it comes. Yeah, maybe 10 minutes or so.
Meanwhile, Mista is asking Trish, hey, give me all of my bullets. They're just all in your boots. That's where really Mista should have been telling Trish, hey, all of my bullets are in your hat, but sure, I guess there's more in the boots too. But
she hands them over, except while she's handing them over, they're suddenly all in Mista's hands. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Oh fuck.
Yep. And everyone's freaking out hey, how the fuck did time just skip? We just blasted the shit out of Bruno's body, and that body has not moved at all. Diavolo has to be dead, right?
But Mista is distracted by something even more serious, even more deadly and worrying. Trish dropped 4 bullets on the ground during the time skip. And Mista's not handling it very well at all.
You gotta drop one more bullet. You gotta drop one more. It cannot be 4 bullets.
And so now is the time I'm thinking, wait a minute. How does Doppio factor into all this?
Right? Yeah.
But the characters don't notice that because they don't know the Special Precious Boy. They do know a different Special Precious Boy who hasn't said a lot in a minute. Everybody but Narancia has been freaking out once they notice the missing time. And him not shouting about something is very suspicious.
Yeah. And this is when Bruno looks to the pillar to his left and sees one of Giorno's ladybug buttons down below. And there's blood trickling all the way down this pillar.
So they follow the blood up to see Giorno's body, which is Narancia, of course, impaled through every rod in a grate.
Yes.
There are 6 inch-and-a-half thick steel rods through his body, pinning him in this sort of repose that I can only imagine is inspired by La Pieta, of course. Yep. Of course it is. So after a moment, perhaps too much of a moment's shock and disgust and despair, Bucciarati finally unzips the bottom of this grate that he's strung up in, so the body slips down and falls off of these rods.
Yeah, and these rods are going straight through his heart and straight through his brain.
Yeah.
This is bad.
So Gold Experience gets straight to work just shoving gravel or whatever the fuck in there to make a new brain and new heart.
Yep. And Trish, meanwhile, is just noticing that everyone outside is starting to wake up, and she's so confused because she doesn't know how the boss could have just attacked because she hasn't been able to feel his soul at all for a while. And meanwhile, Narancia is all healed up. Giorno's body is fixed.
And it wakes up. He wakes up.
Yep.
Well, that's not Narancia in there.
Yeah.
That's Giorno's soul driving 2 bodies at once.
Yes. Yeah. Giorno just says this body is completely hollow. Narancia is already gone. And this is when you can see the golden soul aura of Giorno kind of superimposed over Narancia's body. And Giorno's just saying, like, this body is so empty, I can easily fill this with my own soul.
He even floats the idea that he could be both of these boys for, like, indefinitely.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that, but he just wants everyone to know he could if he wanted to.
Yeah. And this is when, like, both Narancia and Giorno's bodies start crying at the same time because they're both Giorno. And Narancia's body just collapses as Giorno completely, like, his soul completely moves back into his own body.
Giorno has this whole monologue and like a tearful explanation of his defeat. And that is still said while he is in Narancia's body. So, like, Narancia's voice actor gets to give the big farewell speech for his own character, his usual character, while he's playing a different character.
Mm-hmm. And, like, everyone, begins to tear up and cry as you see the spirit fog, kind of lift away from Narancia's body.
Mista, most of all, just huge wailing screams of grief and the big, thick, bubbly tears coming out of Trish's eyes as Mista is wrecked at losing the little buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Aerosmith's Shadow does a tour of the homeland. It flies over Napoli and catches Fugo's attention, who looks up at it as it goes.
Yeah.
Then it flies over the broken monument in Sardinia that really, like, marks the beginning of the end, especially for poor Narancia. And then we follow it, and it reveals that it's not Aerosmith. It is a bird. It is a little, just happy, free, wild bird that goes up into the clouds, and it's sweet. It's a touching little thing.
Yeah. And that leads to a mid-episode title card with Silver Chariot, the normal one.
And without the like, nah, 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 it doesn't have the music sting, because we want to, like, maintain the gravitas, the somber mood, even into the following scene that still, like, maintains that stillness as everyone is just, like, sad. Everyone's grieving quietly. And Polnareff, who did not know this boy, breaks the silence and wonders if, like, wait a minute, what if that sweet pink-haired fella and Diavolo were one body with two souls?
Yeah.
Which has got to be so disorienting for like, subtitle-only people. Like, you said that 8 minutes ago.
Yep.
It really casts doubt on that being the most accurate possible thing. Or are we supposed to believe that Polnareff is like, wow, what if I wasn't making shit up? What if I was right?
Yeah. So yeah, as Polnareff is wondering this, there's a bit here where Polnareff is saying, like, a person's mind can sometimes fissure due to a shock received as a baby, and we see, like, a black charred baby body floating in space or something, growing an extra head or something.
And as it grows more, that extra head becomes extra other parts, and they split into two fucked up silhouette bodies.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we're falling back on the very, like, common explanation, especially common in media, about people with DID being, capable of monstrous acts, or but not all the people in their head, just the one you really got to fucking watch out for. Being a result of childhood trauma. Moon Knight, streaming now on Disney Plus. So, but this is all, like, exposition he's providing to support his theory that Bruno's body, with all of the brand new bullet holes in it, is housing Doppio, and some other guy we don't know somewhere is the vessel for the boss.
Yeah, they have split up, and so now everybody is getting on edge, because it's just like, okay, who the fuck is Diavolo now? If a body can have two souls in it, is he nearby? Is he one of us?
Polnareff even talks about the incidences of, like, people with multiple personalities that have physical differences going on. He's been reading the same articles as Risotto.
Yeah.
He does not bring up any German philosophers, at least.
Yeah. So everyone's priority now still is to try and figure out where Chariot Requiem has gone.
Because we're having echoes of Kira in the boss now. Once you find the guy, he's not the guy. He's a different guy now. So yeah, the big question is the boss coming to finish us off one by one, or is the boss after the arrow? And Polnareff is like, hey, yeah, he's definitely after the arrow. We should go get the arrow.
And as they're getting ready to leave, Giorno puts his hand on the pillar that Narancia's body is resting against.
Yeah.
And just says, sorry we got to leave you, buddy, but no one's ever going to hurt you again. And we're going to bring you home with us. And as they run off to go after Chariot, you can see that Giorno had imbued that pillar with Narancia with life energy so that a bunch of beautiful vines and flowers kind of grow around Narancia's body.
He's getting an elf funeral, as he always wanted.
Yeah.
Finally, we leave the Colosseum. Dawn has broken fully as they run south past all of the comedy bystanders. Perhaps the most significant bit of shtick that happens here is the criminal, who is now in a cop, has, busted out of captivity because, he's not handcuffed anymore. The cop is.
Yeah.
And he begins catcalling Mista.
Yep.
Because he doesn't see Mista, he sees Trish after all. And so he gets shot through the cheek.
Yes. Yeah.
And then Mista takes the handcuffs and runs one of them through the hole in his cheek, which is then attached by, the other side of the handcuffs to a lamppost. So he's just locked there.
God. Yeah.
I have to assume Mista did something with the handcuff keys, so this is not a simple thing. Yeah. But Jesus Christ, Mista.
Jesus. Oh, when they're running out of the Coliseum, there's a really quick bit, too, where, Trish is the one furthest in the back, and as they're running out, they run by an area that's, heavily in shadow, and as Trish runs by, you can just barely see for a couple frames that King Crimson's head is floating in the shadows. Like a horror movie. And, she stops for a second, just go, because she clearly felt something briefly before she's called, hey, you're lagging behind.
So they're all rushing forward, trying to catch up to the slow, methodical pace of Chariot Requiem. And Bruno gets there first and slows down to match that pace. It's just scoping out the situation, taking a look, and is like, I bet I can just trip this guy. And he does, and it works.
Yep.
So Giorno reaches out to grab the dropped arrow that is clattered to the street, and Gold Experience's hand starts emerging from, Gold Experience's fingers start reaching out toward Giorno's face, coming out of the back of his own hand.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not, I'm okay. I get the message. Not doing that.
Yep.
So he tosses a rock at the arrow, and the rock does not hit the arrow. It just stops in midair, revs up, and flies straight at his face like a bullet.
Yeah. So yeah, the arrow's just repelling everything that tries to grab it, and nobody can get close.
And they've been carrying Polnareff with them.
Yeah, Polnareff's still here.
They need a coach, I guess. And so Polnareff just starts wondering out loud, hey, I wonder what would happen if someone who didn't have a stand tried to grab it. Because all this stuff is stand related. I guess he didn't notice the rock. But Mista just replies, why are you asking me? I'm not a stand scientist.
Yeah. And this is when Polnareff goes, I'll get the arrow. And you just see this little turtle Polnareff with the arrow in his mouth. This cute little turtle holding the arrow in his mouth.
And so while he's holding the arrow, he's like, hey, Mista, summon Sex Pistols. I want to stab them.
Yeah, just fucking everyone stab your stands with this arrow. Get some cool ass powers. Come on. And this is when Chariot Requiem turns around and instead of just
booking it, sprinting back toward Polnareff.
Yeah. This here is when we hit our cliffhanger.
If you put the gem key into Polnareff's body, would Mr. President let you in, or does he not have a stand? He says he doesn't have a stand.
Yeah.
If you put the key into Polnareff's dead body, where the turtle wound up,
yeah, wait a minute.
Is Mr. President inside the dead French body and no longer inside the live turtle body?
Right. Oh, God. There's so many possibilities with Polnareff now.
So yeah, in that moment where he's like, what would a standless... How would this react with a standless person? Anyway, I'm a standless person. I do not like his explanation for how that is true for him. I think it would make more sense if he said that he is standless because Requiem has gone rogue and they are separate entities.
Yeah.
Then the whole like, the instant I died, this happened, and then this happened, and through this like chain of technicalities, I don't have a stand anymore. No, just Requiem is solo, you're solo, you don't have a stand anymore.
Yeah.
This would also cover why he could just snatch it out of Requiem's hand back in flashback times.
Yep. Comes independent, like a fucking Anubis or whatever. Yeah.
Who I'm sure was forged by the guy who made the arrowheads way back when.
Yeah.
I still believe this, and all this like arrowhead lore is only making it more clear to me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the steel of Anubis is from the alien.
Oh shit.
The alien virus meteorite.
Oh my god. But then if people were getting stabbed with a sword, they would get stands maybe.
Oh well, it was forged differently. He did different.
Oh sure. Forged differently. Done. The forging process killed the virus in the yeah.
There's just like a little bit in the hand that binds it to you, and that's why when you take Anubis, you get more fashionable.
Yeah, makes sense. I love this part of of part 5. It's just wild. When I watched this for the first time, and I was just like, oh shit, Polnareff's back? Damn, that's kind of cool. I missed him a little bit. That's neat to see him. And then he died pretty quick and was like, oh man. And then he was a turtle. I was like, oh, more Polnareff. But now he's a turtle.
That keeps reminding you he's Polnareff.
God, the next time Polnareff has to like report to the Speedwagon Foundation and he's just a little turtle and has to fucking talk to Jotaro like this.
And they'll be like, where have you been the last 10 years?
Yeah.
The Mafia took away my phone. I'm a turtle now.
Polnareff does work sometimes for the Speedwagon Foundation still, but now he's a turtle. And there's the bit where you're not doing the exciting investigation stuff. There's a bit where you just got to do reports, and that's just PowerPoint presentations. And I'm just imagining Polnareff as a turtle getting put on a little podium with one little turtle foot, like on the little clicker to change the PowerPoint slides.
Oh, he's got to hold a laser pointer in his turtle mouth.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we should talk about the departure of Narancia, the angry little gremlin who is worse at multiplication than a human being should be.
Yeah.
Should be capable of being.
Yeah, it's a very sudden... Like he goes out like Avdol does almost, where it's just like a very sudden, like almost like kind of senseless death, where it's just like he was here and now he's gone.
Abakio is the same way. He's just like out in a second, blink of an eye.
Yeah, no one's going out in like a big fight where they win or they're just able to barely save somebody but die in the process. They're just getting murked.
And yeah, at least Abakio left behind his stand's smashed face sculpting. Narancia is just like, hey, we're safe. No, we're not.
Yeah. Abakio doesn't have as many, scenes about him as Narancia does. So when Abakio dies, it's just like, oh, okay, damn. That sucks for Abakio. But like when Narancia dies, it's like, fuck, dude. I like that little guy.
I mean, yeah, what's the first thing that really keys us into how these guys are with one another is like Narancia listening to music and Mista tricking him and breaking his CD player.
Yeah.
That is where Passione begins. Like he's the strongest initial personality for being this weird little guy who can't do math and will stab people in a moment. He's really the first one to be fully formed. Like it takes a while to see all the sides of Mista. I don't think we ever really saw all the sides of Abakio, but like Narancia's just there immediately and powerfully. And for him to go, man, it's a real loss.
Yeah. The way people the way the rest of the gang reacts to Abakio's death and Narancia's death is noticeably different, especially because like everyone's extremely torn up about Narancia. People were,
and he was asking them to be as torn up about Abakio.
Yeah, and it does it really does make it feel like Narancia's almost like the heart or like the life of the group in a way. he's a bit of the goofy, the wacky, the wacky glue that keeps them together or something. Yeah.
Oh no, Giorno turned it into Gorilla Glue again.
Oh man, god damn it, Giorno. And also, I'm curious if this was a anime edition or not. The very brief bit of Fugo.
It was.
That's what I thought.
It was.
It's a really nice addition.
I'm really glad they did it, because like I think if he knew that Naranjo would not be coming back from this, he would have gone just to like be there for him in his final moments.
Yeah.
Or maybe like having a rage monster death machine stand could have helped.
God. Yeah. God, the amount of fights that could be solved by him just punching something and then melting everything in a 10-foot radius.
Yeah. And like the whole sunlight disinfectant thing, and you get to fights that have different lighting conditions or something. There's something there. There's potential there that really was left on the table when Fugo is just like, I'm not going to be a character anymore. Bye.
Yeah.
You can see me in a book later.
Bye. Yeah. But yeah, Naranjo's death hits me pretty good in this. Like I really feel that one, and the loss the rest of the characters feel when he dies. But yeah, it's a bummer.
It's a bummer. But we do have to move on, just like his best friends in the whole world, because there's a big black leather latex freak stand that has an arrow we all need desperately.
Yeah.
So next week we are going to be talking about episodes 36 and 37, only two, Diavolo Surfaces and King of Kings.
Yes. Yeah, getting very close to the end here. We've only got 4 episodes left. Some crazy shit coming up. And already a series of 3 episodes where some really crazy shit happens. There's still more crazy shit.
Yeah, anything could happen. As soon as like a Notorious B.I.G. popped up and they had to take a moment to turn to the viewer and say, if you thought there were rules, you're wrong. There aren't. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see where this goes, because I am prepared. I never thought there were rules.
Like, if you thought you'd already seen all of the crazy ass like powers of Chariot Requiem, you're wrong. There's even more that we haven't seen. It's great.
Number 1, make everyone sleepy. Number 2, body swaps. Number 3, your stand is my stand now. Don't touch this fucking arrow.
Yeah. There's still more, and I'm very excited for you to see those.
Just that one alone has to be the strongest conceptual stand ability.
Yeah.
Whatever you think you can do, no, you can't. I can. Fuck off.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess until then, see you later.
To be continued.